what got me into music? Definitely my parents. My parents were the first people to introduce me, of course, to any sort of music at all. But they were much more traditional, so traditional Polish music, that's what my heritage is. And so I would always hear polka around the house, or my dad played accordion in a polka band. So that was my first introduction. And then down the line, my friends, of course, started getting me into more like heavy music. So metal, it was called radio rock at the time. So I loved bands like Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace. And then that evolved over time. So I really started to listen to certain music. And actually with my uncle brought me an American Idiot copy. And of course I've heard it on the radio before, but I never sat down and listened to it until that point. And that set me on my course for punk as long as I live. So Green Day's American Idiot definitely entrenched me in that. My parents, my family, they were the ones that got me started. Why start a band? I started a band just by myself because I just recently moved, actually, just an hour and a half away, but all the people I knew that play instruments are still back to where I came from. And of course, as a musician, you try to find as many people as possible, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. You know, pop punk's not like the most popular. It is popular, but when you try to find musicians, it's not as easy as it seems. So I said, I've been writing these songs since around 9th grade, so it's been at least 10 years of writing songs, and I said, if I'm not gonna put them out now, I probably never will, so I'm just gonna go start my own band, give myself a band name instead of performing solo. So I hope that I'll find musicians down the line to bring these songs even further to life. So yeah, I definitely started a band, just get this project up and moving, and I just want to play live and get reactions from people. I think that's so fun. And the other bands I've played for, there's nothing better than playing live, so I was like, let's get this going. What type of music do I play? It's a tough question for anyone to answer. Like, no one wants to just give themselves one word, but I usually categorize myself in pop punk here, you know. But I have a lot of indie influences for sure. So I like a lot of faster music, but I also like a lot of slower music. Like, I just listen to soundtracks because I'm a weirdo, you know. I listen to Hans Zimmer, and I like a lot of theatrical sounds, which could be thrown into indie too. Like, I don't just like all distortion all the time. So definitely a sort of blend between indie rock and pop punk for sure. Just anything that I want to write, I do write. I try not to like niche myself into a certain genre, and so hopefully that also attracts more listeners. I hope people like relate to how I feel instead of just, you know, angry all the time or sad all the time. I write as I see fit. I want to express myself in the most varied way possible. Who are my biggest influences? Number one is probably Pete Townsend from The Who. He's a brilliant songwriter. He evolved over time. And just listening to his songs, I think they're timeless. Like, I still listen to The Who all the time. But other influences, of course, there's too many to count, but the most that you can probably hear in my music are Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day. I think he's absolutely brilliant over time. His early albums, in American Idiot, is monumental in my mind. I love the, you know, Mark and Tom from Blink-182. I've always thought they were dual in a beautiful way. But I always try to focus on the lyrical aspect. So writers like Brian Fallon from the Gaslight Anthem, Matt Skiba from Alkaline Trio, you know, Bob Dylan. I love them all. I try to focus on the lyrical aspect the most. And so in my music, that's probably who you can hear the most, is guys like that really try to focus on the like what they're saying, and then also try to make the songs as fun as possible, right? So like Mark and Tom, they're a bunch of clowns, but they're brilliant songwriters. They're that big for a reason. So, and that's what I try to gear my sound towards. Are there any other bands I like? Of course. Unlimited amount. So, I've already mentioned Gaslight Anthem, Alkaline Trio, Green Day, Blink-182, all great. Other of my favorite bands ever though are, you know, the Menzingers, Rise Against. My name Heart Tattoo is derived from a Joyce Manor song. There's so many new bands I like too. So one from Albany, New York, where I'm from now, is Prince Daddy and the Hyena. They're amazing. Jeff Rosenstock, absolutely love them. I love some indie bands, so The National, phenomenal, one of my all-time favorites. Who else? I mean, it really is totally unlimited. Heart Attack Man, they put out a new album and I'm really loving it. I'm enthralled. I mean, like I said, it's a never-ending list. There's always new bands to find. There's always great new bands to find. It's not like there's always like a lull in music. You just have to dig deep to find what your sound is and what you're kind of looking for. It sounds cliche, but yeah, you need to just look as much as possible and you'll find something awesome. What are my band goals? That's a great question. My band goals aren't to, of course, everyone wants to play in front of a huge audience, and that would be great, but just smaller than that. I just want to write songs that people can connect with and hopefully sing along. So I try to be varied in my writing, and because that's obviously how I feel. I don't feel just a certain way. So I would just love for people just to come out to the shows and even just sing along with me, even if it's just 10 people, 20 people. Of course you want to be big and gain traction, but I just want to have a ton of fun and build a great community of music fans. Even if people come to the shows and they told me that they didn't like the music, as long as they said that they had fun, that's all I could really hope for. I just want people to come enjoy themselves, forget about whatever problems they have in their lives for at least a tiny moment, and hopefully we can just create a good experience, and maybe they'll like the songs better down the line. Hopefully like them right off the bat, because of course that's like your main goal, is to write music that people can connect with and love. But yeah, I just want to have fun, meet new people, go different places, just experience the musician life. I think that would be just the most attainable goal for now, so I think that's a good one. Do I have a current favorite song that I wrote? It always kind of changes, so of course I always write new music, and then I fall in love with those, but I guess one of my all-time favorites is Lead Off Hitter. It's one of the earliest songs I wrote. I was like 4 years old, and it wasn't a corny song, so of course I had like my high school songs, which were total garbage, but this one was the first one where I was like, maybe I can't really become a songwriter, and it's just about wanting to be heard and being unprepared for what's gonna come, and it's like a yearning for something that you want, and it's unpredictable. So that's probably one of my all-time favorites, but I mean, I just wrote a song called Black Ink, and that song, I love that whole idea of permanence and having events with you, and they always stick with you no matter what, whether good or bad. And Bury Their Dead is another one that I wrote, and I always close with that one because it's pretty fun. And it's pretty upbeat too, and I really like playing that song live a lot. That's probably my favorite song to play live. And it's just like, it's not repetitive, but it's different. So I always enjoy that kind of stuff. So those are my top 3 if we were counting. My favorite movies and TV shows, those always change too. I just watched the newest Stranger Things season, which was amazing. I love Game of Thrones. Everyone loves The Office. I don't care who you are. The Office is one of the best shows ever be put out on TV. Movies, I watch too many movies. So of course, like the Marvel, Star Wars. One of my favorite all time is Inception. I like a lot of Christopher Nolan movies, so like Interstellar is a great one. The Shining is a classic movie. The Blues Brothers for comedy, one of my all-time favorites. There's literally too many to count. So those are just some of the shows, movies that I'm into for now, but I guarantee you there will be many more hours watched where I find something new and interesting. If you have any suggestions, you should definitely tell me in the comments, because I'm always looking for something new. And that goes for anything, music, anything new. What would I ask people watching this video? I would ask them to come to the shows. I hope that I see you all soon. I think you'll have a ton of fun, and if not, you'll probably see some other great bands either way. You might discover something that you might not know ever existed, or a new scene that you didn't know existed. Just be involved in your active community, no matter what kind of music. If you like rap, please be involved in that too. It doesn't matter. Just be involved in music, support your artists. I think that's the most important thing. That being said, I also would ask them to follow me at Heart Tattoo Band on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, any of the major platforms. I'm hoping to release more music soon, and I hope to see you all soon. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, of course. Like I said, I think that we could have a lot of fun. So please come see me, and hopefully it'll be worthwhile. Take it easy.